I'm Ed with Atheist the Bird with No Cage. I always like to mention to you that I'm 78 years old, and not sure why I always feel that I need to mention that. Although recently there's been some things bothering me. I suffer a little bit with vertigo, and some other issues. I get worried sometimes that my vision is really bad, and I think there's not much doubt that I for sure am legally blind. That's not why I'm wearing the glasses. I just wear the glasses because it's bright out here. But today I think I'd just like to do a little bit of a recap of some of the videos that I've done. I haven't done one in a while. And I'm not sure if I've ever completely introduced myself and what it is I believe in or don't believe. One of the things I like to point out is that it's very important for me to believe things that are true and to not believe things that are not true. That's fundamental to the way I think, and the way I decide on whether something is true or not or believable is I look at the evidence. And the evidence has to be convincing to me. For example, I, like most anybody watching this, we'd agree that the Earth goes around the sun, and the reason that on a daily basis, the idea that it appears that the sun's going across the sky, of course, is because the Earth is turning or revolving. And I believe that the Earth travels in an orbit around the sun. The reason I believe those things is from scientists, scientific evidence. I've had the discussion with religious people that when I say, okay, I believe this because scientists tell me, and they claim, sometimes some of them do claim that, well, that's just like that's like having faith in what scientists say. Well, no, not quite, because I get a lot of other very accurate information from scientists. For example, scientists tell us, who is it, cosmologists, I guess, are the ones that let us know when there's going to be an eclipse of the sun or an eclipse of the moon. And they tell us not only when it's going to happen, what day it's going to happen, but they tell us down to seconds of what we're going to see in these. So I develop some confidence in their ability to explain those things. The same reason I believe that while it looks as though, from our perspective, it looks as though the sun comes up in the east and goes down in the west, we know that actually the Earth is spinning, the Earth is spinning this way, so to speak, because that's east and that's west. So those things I believe because I find the evidence very convincing. Do I know for sure? No, not really. Very few things can we know for sure. Okay, on the specific issues of that revolve around the fact that I refer to myself, I label myself an atheist, there's two things going on there. To be an atheist simply means that I have no belief in any God. I don't believe in the Hindu gods or the Christian gods or Allah, or I don't believe that any of those exist. I do not have a belief. In most cases, I don't claim, from my position, I don't claim that they do not exist. I just claim that I don't have any belief, I'm not convinced that they do exist. In the case of the biblical one, I go a little further. I say that one's, by the definitions that I've had, that one is not possible. Okay, so on the issue of the God exists, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I've asked the question many times, what is this deity, this God that they're talking about, Christians are talking about? And I never get an explanation. It's all powerful or something like this. They want to tell me what this thing can do, but I never get a sense of what it is or a sense of what they think it is. So it's very, from the beginning, it's just I don't get much out of that discussion of the existence. And a more important discussion, though, is the doctrine of the Bible. If they try to convince me that that's a good book, as they call it, the good book, and it's a book that we can use to decide how to live our life, I disagree strongly. There's so much in there that's bad. It seems to me it teaches hatred of homosexuals, for instance, hatred of anybody that doesn't agree with the religion, hatred of certainly people like me that don't believe in any deities or so on. So, and I think those are very unhealthy ideas. Don't think it's a good thing to teach. Now, we are going to inject right here a little video of my dog. Luna, I don't know where she is right now, but we have a little video, so we're going to inject it right here. Looney? You waiting for some food to fall or something? Hey? What are you looking for? Luna. Hi, Pumpkin. Yeah, that's great. She's our girl. Oh, ho, ho. Okay. Thanks, Luna. Now, I'd like to talk about something. I watch videos all the time. I watch apologetic videos from Christian apologetics and from other religions also. But some of the Christian apologetics get really strange. Even amongst educated Christians, there's this idea that people like me who label themselves as atheists are scary and dangerous people. And they have all kinds of, some of them, not all of them, have all kinds of ideas in their mind about what an atheist is. Many of them want to say atheists worship the devil. Well, that's bullshit on several levels. Because most atheists that I know, this is certainly my stance anyway, I think the idea of the devil being an actual person or entity of some kind is in the same area as the God thing. It doesn't exist. So the idea that I could worship the devil, and they also say sometimes, you just hate God and you don't want to believe. Well, I can't hate something I believe doesn't exist or I don't believe exists. Same with the devil. I can't worship that because, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist. It's a silly idea. Oh, one of the things, not common, but one of the things that comes up, I've heard it on a program that I watch on the Atheist Experience. People phone in and say things, why do you atheists eat babies? Now that one, I mean, it's so silly that, but when I've seen it happen on the show, typically the commentators from the show just go, oh no, another troll or whatever, and they hang up, or they turn that person off. But I think they should have a little fun with it. If somebody actually said that to me, why do you eat babies? I'd say, well, of course, the reason I eat babies is because they taste so good. And, you know, maybe let it go at that, or add, look, if you've never ate a baby and don't know how tastes they good, okay, how good they taste, come on, you'll never know until you taste, you know, okay, I'm making a joke of how silly they're being about that thing. As though my wife said I can't push on this joke because it gets a little too dark. Like, I wanted to say, well, maybe, how about I tell them, yeah, I had a couple of babies with my pancakes this morning. You know, I fried the babies up in the frying pan and had them with my pancakes. She says, no, that's a little too dark. So I won't tell you that. I didn't eat babies for breakfast. I dealt with the idea I get accused of, or atheists get accused of worshiping the devil, which is nonsense. Well, I've heard this, and you know, I'm shotgunning a little bit, but I've heard this little one. Apologists pull this when they say, have you ever told a lie? And of course, just about anybody will say, of course, I've told a lie. Well, the apologist, this version of apologist wants to say, well, therefore you're a liar, you're an evil person. Of course, they admit that they also are sinners, as they like to call it, and everything. And it's like, so if you've told a lie, according to the doctrine, you're going to go to hell, unless you get forgiven for that. You have to go through this process of getting forgiven. I was raised in the Catholic Church, and the process with the Catholic Church was you had to go to confession and say a bunch of prayers or something as atonement for whatever sins you confessed, and then it was forgiven, and you're okay to go to heaven. But when they pull that one off, it's so silly, because I think, I want to say to them, have you ever told the truth? And of course well, of course I told the truth. Well, doesn't that mean if you told the truth, then you're a truth teller, and you should go to heaven, I guess, because of the doctrine. But that doesn't seem to work somehow. It seems if you've told a lie, that's it. And the other thing is, you told a lie. Imagine, well, I'm going to hell for whatever, whether I told lies or never told a lie in my life, according to the doctrine, because I'm an atheist. I just don't believe what they believe. But the idea of someone, say, especially like for telling a lie or series of lies or whatever, this deity would then put you in his torture chamber forever. You die, he slams you in the torture chamber forever for telling a lie. Or whatever, just about any sin, as far as I can see, the doctrine, if you sin, it doesn't seem to matter. The Catholics had the minor sins and major sins things, but I think in the general Christianity, it's sinning if they believe in the hell thing. The Jehovah's don't have the hell. But if you tell a lie, or you sin some other way, you do, I suppose, masturbate or something like that, you're going to hell forever. Unless you go and beg this guy or something, or sacrifice a chicken or something. No, that's the Old Testament, okay. Whatever, anyway, you're going to hell. I had a whole bunch of things I wanted to talk about, and they're slipping away. That's part of being, remember, I'm 78 years old, so when I'm fucking up, just give me a little, come on, give me a little leeway here. Besides, Marco's, he's going to cut out the shit that we don't want in there anyway. Is it still working okay? Okay, a couple more minutes. I've learned that when I can't think of what I want to say, it doesn't matter. I can either babble on or just stop, and Marco's going to cut it out, and so I won't look like a blathering idiot. So he'll just cut all this blah, 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 blah stuff. He'll just cut that out, right? That's what you're going to do, right? Okay. All right. I'd just like to reiterate the idea. I said at the very beginning, I want to believe things that are true. If this God, any one of the gods, the thousands of gods, if any one of them was true, I'd want to know about it. But I know most of the beliefs about the God of the Bible sort of thing. So if this guy was true, personally, if it's true, I think he's a monster. If the book is accurate, the stuff that he does in there is horrible. But if it's true, I'd want to believe it. And if I saw enough evidence, anything convinced me that it was actually true, then I would immediately be trying to contact this deity because I have things that I'd like to discuss. And all the Christian people I ever talked to claim to have regular contact with this dude, so I guess it would be possible. But I'd want to talk to him, and I'd have a lot of questions. Maybe there's a way to explain it. Maybe this whole Bible thing is crap. Maybe he does exist, but he didn't do any of that stuff. Maybe he doesn't have complete power. Maybe he can't control all the horrible things that go on as part of life on this planet. But I'd just like to reassure, whether you're a Christian or any other believer or a non-believer, if it's true, I would really like to know it. And I would hope that, I would assume that if it were true, God would have notified me by now. Give me some reason to believe. So once again, I'm Ed. If you got any comments about any of my videos or anything, please leave comments below. Contact me, or if I see comments, if you leave a contact, I'll try to contact you. I'd love to have a discussion with anybody, and I'd like to just know that somebody is occasionally watching these videos. Oh, before I go, I got a joke. This is my own joke. I made it up. I'm talking to a Christian. The Christian's explaining the concept of hell to me. And I say to the Christian, well, according to your concept of hell, there's good news and bad news. So the Christian says, what's the good news? I say, well, the good news is I'm going to live forever. Christian says, okay, what's the bad news? I say, the bad news is I'm going to live forever. You get it? Okay, thanks. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.